So I know it seems strange that I'm wearing these Easter ears right now because for most of you, you've gathered your eggs, Easter's over. For us in the Christian church though, it's still Easter. So I get to wear my ears for as long as I want. But the big question I think is, how did we get to this place? What's so funny about the bunny? How did something like this become the really big focus of Easter in our tradition, in our secular world? I think that's a good question. I think for a lot of us, we think of Easter and we associate with bunnies, eggs, and rabbit ears. But the tradition of the Easter bunny, while not truly Christian, is shrouded in mystery. We don't really know how it got there, but there is a reason. Although we've tried to make it a warm, fuzzy moment. In the Christian tradition, we talk about the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. And in the meantime, everybody is going and sitting in shopping malls while their children do something like this. And while, the costumes improved, it's still like this. And one has to wonder, how did we get here? The fact of the matter is, when I used to sing Here Comes Peter Cottontail in school, I was thinking of like a Peter Rabbit kind of fluffy little bunny that hopped around. If I met a 6-foot-tall rabbit standing in my bedroom, I would go off chocolate forever. And we expect children to really enjoy that. We're kind of the alternative to Santa Claus, but I get the Santa Claus thing. It's just the Easter bunny sitting on its lap. Yeah, we've contrived a bit to get to that point. So what's so funny about the bunny? Well, first of all, let me say, I'm going to try and unpack it for you the best I can from what I've read and know, and I may be wrong. So, hey, give me some leeway here. The fact of the matter is that Easter is based on a pagan tradition of renewal and new life in the world. So it happens in April. And everything turns green, things come back to life from death. So it just made sense when Christians were trying to convert the pagans that they would give them a season for the resurrection of Jesus that coincided with something they were already celebrating. And the big goddess in the midst of all of that is Ostera or Uster. And she is the goddess of fertility, and often represented by not really a bunny, but a hare. A larger animal, not as attractive, but hey, not as cuddly either. But a hare is really a symbol of fertility and renewal. So, that's how we got to the rabbit. But how do we get to the part about collecting eggs and having a rabbit that lays them? Well, it turns out that a bird was injured one time in old folklore, and Ostera actually healed this bird by turning it into a hare. And in gratitude of that, the hare laid eggs. Hey, that's what happened. So when the Germans came over to Canada, or the Norwegians, or whoever, celebrated this tradition, they brought that idea of the hare that hops around and lays eggs. In fact, I think it's in Germany that they create a nest so that the hare can come and lay the eggs in the nest. And they put out carrots and everything, and they make it a grand gesture so they get as much as they can. So they brought that tradition to North America, and we embraced it. We embraced it so much. We thought, this is like great. Another way to celebrate Easter and the resurrection of Jesus, like there was chocolate rabbits in the empty tomb. But we thought, a childish thing, it'll be fun. And for the most part it is. Egg hunts, chocolate rabbits, they're probably a kind of harmless way to bring in that sense of renewal in springtime. Although I gotta say, this maybe needs to go. I'm really not a fan. I mean, imagine, this one looks like somebody's strange uncle. Oh, sorry, I dropped the most offensive one. But what I'm gonna say is that you can imagine people pulling up those pictures, when you're older, you know, like on a birthday, when you're 21, your wedding day, and saying, remember when Charlie sat on the Easter Bunny's lap? And he cried, and Charlie's like looking away because it's a really triggering moment for him. He's never gotten over. Anyway, it's a fairly harmless thing. We're celebrating, and chocolate is a part of it, and the Easter eggs, and all of the good stuff. But for us in the Christian tradition, the most powerful moment is this, that we remember there's renewal. We remember there's new life. And for us, Jesus Christ's resurrection points to that. And not only points to that, but tells us there is a living God that creates renewal in our lives constantly. So this is my midweek moment or 2 or 3. So go celebrate Easter. It's going to happen for a few more weeks. So eat all the chocolate you can. And no sitting on the rabbit's lap, though. Okay? It's gotta go. It's gotta go. Bye-bye.